Welcome back. Jumping quite a ways ahead to after the flood, God gives his first permission for humans to eat animals. From a pro-meat perspective, the words blessing here jump right off the page. Genesis 9. Then God blessed Noah and his sons and told them, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth. All of the animals of the earth, all of the birds of the sky, all of the small animals that scurry along the ground, and all of the fish in the sea will look on you with fear and terror. I have placed them in your power. I have given them to you for food, just as I have given you grain and vegetables." I think it's important, while taking a look at this text, to ask how we got here in the first place. In Genesis 6:11, we read, "Now God saw that the earth had become corrupt and was filled with violence. God observed all this corruption in the world, for everyone on earth was corrupt. So God said to Noah, I have decided to destroy all living creatures, for they have filled the earth with violence. Yes, I will wipe them all out along with the earth." So along with words like corruption and evil, violence seems to be a major issue for God in the ruining of his creation. In fact, violence is such an issue that he's willing to enact violence upon all of creation in order to cease the ongoing violence. The proof of this is found in the regulations given after the allowances. Genesis 9:4. "But you must never eat any meat that still has lifeblood in it. And I will require the blood of anyone who takes another person's life. If a wild animal kills a person, it must die, and anyone who murders a fellow human being must die. If anyone takes a human life, that person's life will also be taken by human hands. For God made human beings in his own image. Now be fruitful and multiply and repopulate the earth." If you're solely looking for an A-OK to eat whatever it is that you want, you can find it in this passage. I won't argue that just because this is a blessing being given to Noah and his sons, that it only applied to them and to nobody else further down the line in history, and therefore it doesn't apply to us. I don't think that that's a particularly helpful argument to make, seeing as it's quite easy to disagree with. However, it seems hard to argue that God has a serious problem with violence. Perhaps you could argue that it's okay to do a violent thing as long as you find the least violent way to do it. But at the end of the day, if God desires a creation with no violence, is it really the best we can do to do violent things as non-violently as possible, or to just choose options that don't involve any violence at all? And I know that there's plenty of people willing to argue that plants feel pain and that growing crops to feed to animals so that we can eat those animals is somehow less violent than if we just grew those crops and ate them ourselves. I find it very clear that God made things the way that he made them for a reason. And just because a concession has been made for the hardness of man's heart doesn't mean that God's heart has changed. Comment below if this makes sense, or if you think that God made a mistake by not including barbecue in the Garden of Eden.